Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Ares versus Achaemenidae, the greatest fight in Evony history. Okay, break it up, break it up. Back to your corners. Hi, and welcome to Red Evony. I am Akayasha. You can call me Aka. Now, all kidding aside, with the exception of Civilization Gear, Ares and Achaemenidae are the two highest gear sets available for most players in the game. So in this video, we're going to look at the prerequisites for gaining the ability to craft this gear and the specific requirements for actually crafting the gear. Let's start with the prerequisites. For Ares gear, the prerequisite for the forge is getting to forge level 30. When you get to level 30, you will see a new icon there for the equipment upgrade. That shows that you have the ability to get Ares gear. For Achaemenid gear, however, your forge needs to get to level 33. Now, as I'm sure you can imagine, there is a significant difference from being able to get forge 30 and being able to get forge 33. That involves upgrading your keep to level 33 and a whole lot of resources and speed ups. We're talking billions of resources and thousands of days worth of speed ups. So in that sense, it is easier to attain the ability to get Ares gear than it is to get Achaemenid gear. But that's when we are looking at the forge alone. When we go into the forge and we take a deeper look at Ares gear, you see that each of the pieces has specific prerequisites for gaining the ability to craft that gear. Looking at the boots, for example, you need Forge 30, as we've said before. You also need to attain Dragon Master. And each piece has specific prerequisites for being able to craft that. So that adds another layer of complexity to the prerequisites for getting Ares gear. For Achaemenid gear, however, the only other prerequisite that you have besides the forge is getting scrolls. Achaemenid scrolls are gotten primarily as drop from boss monsters. There are other ways to get the scrolls, but without the scroll, you will not be able to craft the gear. So that is the other prerequisite for Achaemenid gear. And you have to get the specific scroll for the specific piece. I'm sure we are all used to this kind of system from King's Gear and from Dragon Gear as well. So for this level of prerequisites, there is no clear difference or ease for either of the gear sets. They are both equally difficult for this prerequisite, in my opinion. Now, aside from the prerequisites that we've stated, Ares gear has one other important prerequisite, and that is it comes from Dragon gear. So for the specific piece that you want, you need to have the Dragon gear crafted first. Then you can upgrade it to Ares. For Achaemenidae, there is no such prerequisite. You just go into the forge and straight craft the gear once you have met all the other prerequisites for it. So once all the prerequisites have been met, the next thing that comes up is the crafting requirements. So for both of them, we're going to look at material requirements. And just flipping through here, Ares typically requires 30 to 20 pieces of level 7 materials for crafting. In that light, however, Achaemenidae requires considerably more materials to craft. So it requires between 30 and 40 level 7 pieces. Looking at this from the material requirements alone, Ares seems to have the upper hand. But remember that one of the prerequisites for Ares is having Dragon gear. So if you look at the total cost for crafting Ares, it turns out to be more expensive from a material point of view than Achaemenid gear. The next thing is speed up requirements. Of course, for crafting Achaemenid gear, as with most other gear types, you need speed ups, either common speed ups or crafting speed ups when you want to do it. You can see the time here for crafting this ring. It says 39 days. So you need 39 days worth of speed ups. For Ares, however, there is no speed up requirement. Once you do it, it's a straight craft. You just click upgrade and it's instant. So in that sense, Ares is better. No speed up requirements whatsoever. Ares does have some other requirements though. And that is you need gold to craft Ares gear. You also need badges, and these are the badges that are gotten from BOC, Battlefield of Constantinople. Aside from some other small avenues, Battlefield of Constantinople is the main source for getting these badges. So, once you have gold and you have badges and you have enough materials, you meet the crafting requirements for Ares and you can go ahead and craft. Achamenidae Gear, however, does not have such requirements. Once you meet the material cost and you meet the speed up requirements, you can craft. So in that sense, Achaemenidae seems to be a bit better. Now, let's look at some of the other characteristics of the gear. For Achaemenidae Gear, as you would with most other gears, once you get the gear, you have to star the gear, 5 stars, and that requires gold. For Ares Gear, however, if you have the Dragon Gear already starred, there is no additional gold requirement for starring the gear. It will take on the star level of the upgrading Dragon Gear. In terms of refining, both Ares and Achaemenidae Gear have the same cap for refining. They both have 25% cap on the refinements, which is higher than for Dragon's Gear, which is capped at 20. So in that sense, both of them are equal. They have the same refined stone requirements. They have the same gold requirements. They have the same gem requirements for refining. So in that sense, they are exactly the same. The other key characteristics of the gear is the set attributes. As you can see here, for Achaemenidae Gear, for the set attributes, you have all troop attack for 2 pieces, ground and mounted troop attack and defense on monsters for 4 pieces, and enemy troop attack debuff for full 6 pieces. For Ares Gear, however, you have attacking troop attack for 2 pieces, ground and mounted troop attack and defense on monster for 4 pieces, which is exactly the same, and march size capacity for the full 6-piece Ares. So there are some slight differences between the two of them, and for various situations, one might be better than the other. So the next thing that we need to talk about is what is the general purpose or use of these gears? And looking from the basic attributes of the gear sets and the set attributes for the gear, Ares is primarily used for attacking. So when you have attacking generals, Ares will generally be more suited for those kind of things. On the other hand, when you look at Achaemenidae basic attributes and the set attributes are geared more for defense. With the debuffs that you have on the 6-piece and the basic attributes, Achaemenidae is more used as a defensive type of gear. So now that we know all of that, the key question for everyone is, what do you use? Now, which you should use will be different for the various types of gear pieces that you're looking at. So whether you're looking at a helmet or a chest piece, it will be different. And you need to look at both the basic attributes and the set attributes in their entirety, so you will know what gear, whether Ares or Achaemenidae, that you should pick for each specific piece. What is often the case is that you would have a mix of Ares and Achaemenidae on your various generals. Of course, that will differ for various generals and the purpose that that general is being used for. So, how do you now know what to pick for each one? Well, the rest of this series is going to be covering the gear selection options for each of the various types of PvP generals. So be sure to stay tuned for that. Thank you, and Aka signing out.